There are some stories that make you question what truly lingers in the spaces we call home. This experience comes from a narrator whose family witnessed something that defies logic, a quiet bungalow that became the stage for two chilling encounters. Tonight, the uploader shares a story that started with a simple family move and ended with something no one could explain. So settle in, dim the lights, and listen closely, because this isn't just a ghost story. This is a haunting that left generations wondering who or what was still living in that house. When the narrator's grandmother first moved into her new bungalow, it was meant to be a fresh start. The place was peaceful, an unassuming little home with a calm, quiet neighborhood. The kind of place you'd think nothing strange could ever happen. The furniture hadn't arrived yet, so one evening, the grandmother and the narrator's mother sat in the living room on deck chairs, watching television and chatting. Everything seemed normal. The glow of the TV flickered softly against the walls. Then, out of the corner of her eye, the narrator's mother noticed movement in the kitchen. She turned her head, frowning. There was a faint shape there, almost like a shadow, but more defined. Her mother, the grandmother, looked at the same spot and froze. "Can you see a man in a tweed suit?" she asked quietly. The narrator's mother blinked, squinting into the dim light. "Yes," she replied, "I can." Both of them could see the figure, a tall, faint outline of a man dressed in what looked like an old-fashioned tweed suit. He wasn't fully solid, more like a mist or a memory taking shape. The two women sat there, completely still. Then the figure began to move. Slowly, deliberately, it turned and walked deeper into the kitchen until it disappeared behind the doorframe. When the narrator's mother finally gathered the courage to get up and check, there was nothing there. The kitchen was empty. No sound, no presence, nothing. Just silence. Neither of them could explain it. But while the narrator's mother never saw the man again, the grandmother would later claim she saw him several more times, always faint, always wearing that same tweed suit, and always disappearing before she could speak. Who was he? No one knew. But that wasn't the only strange thing to happen in the family. Years later, in another home, the narrator's father would have an equally unsettling encounter, one that seemed to suggest that whatever this presence was, it wasn't bound to just one place. In the living room sat an old radio, a sturdy vintage model that needed to be turned manually with a dial. It hadn't been touched in weeks. One night, out of nowhere, the sound of static filled the house, then music, loud, distorted, blaring at full volume. The narrator's father, annoyed and half asleep, got out of bed to go downstairs and switch it off. But as he reached the top of the stairs, he stopped, because there, coming up the steps, was his own father. They looked at each other in confusion. Both had thought the other was the one who'd turned on the radio. Together, they descended the stairs. The house was locked tight. No one else was there. Yet the radio sat on the table, the volume dial turned all the way up, and the station had changed entirely. The radio couldn't have moved on its own. It was too heavy, too solid, and it certainly couldn't have changed stations without someone touching it. But there it was, blaring into the empty night. They turned it off, checked every door, every window, every lock. Nothing was out of place, and no one ever figured out how it happened. When we look at both of these encounters, the man in the tweed suit and the mysterious radio, we start to wonder, are these random moments of electrical interference, tricks of the light, or something more? Maybe these experiences were connected, bound by something the family couldn't see but could feel. Maybe the man in the tweed suit wasn't just a shadow from the past, but a lingering spirit tied to the homes they lived in. Or perhaps he wasn't tied to the house at all, but to them. Whatever the truth may be, these experiences remind us that sometimes the veil between our world and the next is thinner than we think. If you've ever seen something you couldn't explain, or felt that eerie sense of being watched when no one else was around, maybe you've brushed against that same unseen world. What do you think the man in the tweed suit was? A ghost, a residual echo of someone long gone, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts and your own experiences in the comments below. And if you enjoy real, unsettling stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the uploader has many more true paranormal encounters to share. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know who or what might be standing just beyond your sight.